Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Huts F1 Gaming League. Huts Gaming F1 League? Sometimes one of these days I'll get it completely right. Season 4, Round 12 at the Qatar Grand Prix. I am your host, Still Guns. I am not feeling 100%. This morning I was rather bunged up, but I'm feeling a bit better now, so I decided, you know what, I'll give it a go. You might hear me sniffle, I might cough a couple of times, which is not really the debut I would have wanted for, the stream debut for my new PC. Well, I say stream debut, I technically already had it for the Assetto Corsa 2 days ago, but today it debuts F1. Leading the way in the Constructors' Championship, Aston Martin, as they have been for quite a while now, only 20 points clear of McLaren in second place. And it's a very similar order in the driver's standings. Tom, driver for Aston Martin, 216 points, to Jordan in the McLaren with 184. Not quite as clear-cut in the team standings, the constructors. It's a bit closer there. Whilst Tom is about 32 points clear of Jordan. So, a bit of time, a bit of space for the championship leader to hang on to. And so, it is time for the reveal of my brand new PC in all of its 800 by 600 glory and ultra low quality at 20 FPS. Here we are. Oh, hang on. Audio. There we go. Let me pick up the controller, which, of course, can't stay connected. But here we go. Smooth. Smooth as a baby's bottom, as they say sometimes. I don't know why they say that. That's so weird. Why is it a baby's bottom and not something else? What else is smooth? A koala's brain, I suppose. That's smooth. Oh, what happened to the chat? Bring me the chat, please. There we go. Yep, here I am. Doing my best. Who was the first man out on the track? It was Sobron GT, I believe a reserve driver, as the controller has decided to disconnect itself again and reconnect itself. And the Ferrari, first man out on track, should be the first man to set a benchmark here today. It just looks so good, man. Can you believe it? Stream should hopefully look okay as Sobron opens the DRS to begin his first flying lap of this short qualifying session. There's a couple more cars behind. That looks like Big Six. And is that... it could be Brains or Caster. No, it's Brains in the Williams. Sobron then through turn 2. Over the curbs. Nicely does it. Doesn't take any curbs on the exit of turn 3. And then into the sort of double apex of 4 and 5. Through sector 1, purple, as expected, 27.247. Up now toward in through the second sector, which is a bit more twisty-turny. And down through this kink, and that's an invalidation. And that is an understandable invalidation. Bit of a tricky section on this otherwise fairly simple track. So behind then is Big Six, who has not invalidated. 27.739 through Sector 1. 55.153 through Sector 2. Almost goes off the track and has just invalidated in the final sector, which means Brains now will be the benchmark. No, it won't be. It will instead be Ricciardo TTV in the AlphaTauri, all very close to invalidating there into the final corner. Nicely does it. DRS open down towards the line. And the benchmark is going to be set at a 121.261. Behind is a Williams. I believe that's Caster. Yes, indeed, it is on an outlap. Sherlock next across the line goes second. 2.4 seconds clear of Ricardo, but the wrong way. Shankstar next goes P2, only 4/10 faster than Sherlock. Big Jabber 124.0. There's an Alpine behind. Is that Domchi? No, it is Gladius, who's just put it on provisional pole. 121.1. There's another AlphaTauri. That's a DFE Parazod, wearing a very accurate number at the minute. Across the line, first man into the 122s. We only had 121s and 123s, and a single 124. Next across the line is that can't be right. Someone's coming into the pit. Adrian aborted. I see why. Let me know what the audio is like, by the way. Meanwhile, I've got a hype train notification that's blocking the chat, so that's a little irritating. Caster into the pits. Seems a few people are being caught out by this rather tricky track. Outlap for Domchi and Sobron GT again. Callum still in the pits. Jabber either going for another lap. No, he's going to come in. Yep. Anyone else going for it? Parazod is 2 seconds down, so he's not going for it. 9 seconds down. So Big Six, Domchi and Sobron on outlaps. Invalidated their first attempt at a flying lap. So Domchi will be the first man of these three so far to set a benchmark. Well, I say benchmark, a lap time, should he not invalidate. We've got a McLaren coming out of the pits. That is either Jordan or Surtee. We'll find out in just a moment. It is Surtee. We've got the hype train, and I need to dismiss that. Go away. Crucify, thank you for subscribing. And Bearded Blob also for subscribing with Prime. Thank you very much, guys. Can we get that hype train? I can't do it at the minute. Domchi has a little bit of traffic ahead in the form of Callum on his outlap. Could prove a little troublesome. Gets out of the way just in time. As Domchi through the first sector, 26.898 goes purple. Oh, that's a spin for Callum, I think. No, looked a bit like a spin. Through sector 2, Domchi goes. Tricky corners, getting out of the way. Nicely does it. The Lusail circuit here, usually home to motorbikes. But these machines only turn into motorbikes if you roll them. 53.9 through Sector 2. That's also purple. So he has to hook it up perfectly through the final sector. Could potentially put himself in provisional pole. Very nicely done. Through the penultimate corner there. Into the final corner. And then the long straight towards the finishing line. As Callum has just had a spin on the entrance of the pit lane. Domchi then loses out by 0.3. Lost it all in the final sector by the looks of things. Very nearly got it all right. Big Six next. DRS wide open, heading towards the finishing line. Energy ran out just in time before the line. 123.1. Then we have Caster on an outlap. Adrian on an outlap as well. Where is Sherlock? He's on an outlap as well. Anyone here on a flying lap? It looks like... Nope, not Shankstar. We've got Williams of Caster on an outlap. But he's just started that. Brains is... I don't know who to look at here. Biscuit, actually, is a good one to look at. He's about to cross... Okay, it goes purple for everyone, doesn't it? Biscuit, then. Through Sector 2. Purple... Oh, this is more of a personal purple. because that was not fast enough, I think, to be a all-time purple for the entire track. Final straight, well, the main straight, the only real straight on the track, really. DRS wide open, he's run out of energy. This one might not be a great lap. It's only P4, just into the 121s. Next up is going to be Surtees, but he's invalidated. Who next to set a lap time? Brains has invalidated. Caster, 54.3 through the second sector onto the main straight we go. Energy incredibly low. Across the line we go. It's only P5. Just misses out on getting into the 121s. Next up, one to watch for is going to be Adrian, the Red Bull, but he's also very critically low on energy. DRS is wide open, it's the best he can do, and it is pole position, just about by 0.2 of a second. Nicely done. Surtees, is he going to go for another lap, or is he on a cooldown? We'll see in just a moment. TomTom in an lap there, this is going to be one to watch. Because TomTom looking to secure the championship as soon as he can. We have 3 rounds left after this one. And I think if he wins today and Jordan comes second again, there's a good chance that he can wrap up the championship potentially at the next round. Meanwhile, though, this is the here and now, and he begins his first flying lap of this qualifying session. Nicely does it through the first sector. Be mindful not to overextend. Doesn't take any exit curb, but does take entry curb. To the double right-hander of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into the hard left-hander. Oh! Locks up the rears. Managed to go purple in the first sector, but that lock-up could spell a little bit of... well, could be a bit of a headache, just like the one I have today. Oh, very close to... oh, yeah, he's got just a bit too much rear brakes on that car. He's on the edge of control. Through the second sector in 53.946. Yellow flag for... I think that's an Alpine. I think Domchi on his outlap. Oh, no, TomTom's got it all wrong. Instantly pulls into the pits, so a perfect place to invalidate, I suppose. Next up then is going to be Sobron, who looks like he's finally about to get a lap time on the board, but he's not got a lot of energy left in that Ferrari. Across the line, 123.383. It's something to work on. Meanwhile, that's Domchi who's just starting his lap there. So we'll ride with Domchi for now into corner number 1. Car number 5, I think. It looks like 5 from the side, but it looks like 6 from the front. Is it 5 or 6? Are you trying to be Sebastian Vettel or Nicholas Latifi? That is definitely a 6 on the front. At least that's how it looks to me. It could just be that pitot tube making it look like a 6. So Domchi got to nail the second sector here. Turns, I can't remember. Oh, and he's going to invalidate, potentially. No, he manages to not invalidate despite running off the circuit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? I don't know if that sort of isn't straight. Oh, no, he invalidates. That's not what you want to have happen. Caster on an outlap. He's about to begin, but it could be an invalidated lap as well. Brains. Oh, he's not getting it all well either through the first sector here. And TomTom just come out for another flying lap. Who's someone to watch as Jordan is in P3. just behind Gladius. Parazod coming into the pits. Caster going for another lap. 1:22.0 is his current time on the board, and he's improved by 2.28 of a second. He's catching up to TomTom at the minute, who is on his out lap, nicely through turn 6, 7, 8. Oh, I can't remember. Aston Martin getting out of the way. Very nice sportsmanship. Across the second sector split, 0.366 up into the 53.9s. All he has to do is 2 more corners. Got to get them just about right. He gets the penultimate corner right. Final corner, and then it's one big straight. DRS opens for the run. Energy into the 10% range, and it's a 1:21.5. Moves up to P6. Nicely does it. But here's one to watch for. With 3 minutes of the session remaining, TomTom begins his what may well be his final flying lap of the session. In fact, it's probably only going to be his only flying lap of the session, as he, of course, didn't get his previous lap right, and he probably doesn't have a lot of wiggle room with his setup. The most he can do, I think, is to adjust the brake bias, which I think is exactly what he needed to change anyway. We'll see how things go into turn 6 here, and it's a lot cleaner, so he has fixed up that brake bias by the looks of things. Into the second sector we go, the twisty bits, he has to get this right. And of course, I don't actually know, this could be a sprint weekend, I don't know, because the real Qatar Grand Prix is going to be a sprint weekend, but this one, not sure. 53.3, which is mighty quick through Sector 2. Just has to get Sector 3 exactly right. We've got some cars going slowly. A Ferrari that needs to get out of the way. Fortunately, wasn't too much in the way. Final corner. It's the last place you can possibly mess this up, and he's done it very nicely. Running out of battery, though, on the run to the line. Where is TomTom going to put his car? Pole position! 120.7. But, of course, it's only a provisional pole. Everyone else is now out on track, including Adrian, Gladius, and Jordan. So we've got 3 drivers to watch here. In fact, we could be watching out for Ricardo TTV as well. First man to begin the flying lap, though, is going to be Callum. And right behind him is Biscuit, TomTom's teammate. And so the Mercedes begins its final flying lap. The second Mercedes of Big 6 is just 1 straight behind. Callum has not been able to get a time on the board, nor has Surtees, who's about to begin his flying lap in a few seconds' time. The number 70 car, Lucas Weber's number back in F1 2019. And I think that's a Ricardo. It might be Parazod behind. Whereas, who were we watching again? It was Callum, wasn't it? Callum, 27.7 through Sector 2. And Shankstar retires from the session. He's done so in the pit lane, so he won't cause any trouble. Oh, Callum's running out of energy. I think he's gone for a second flying lap at some point. So that's his. He's going to get a time on the board, but it's not going to be a good one. Surtees, meanwhile, looks like he's going rather slowly. Adrian has retired. Adrian is out of the running for pole position. What has happened there? No idea what's happened. We'll ride with Surtees for now. Big 6 and Biscuit are about to cross the line. Callum rather. Callum still has a lap time, but it's miles off the pace. Biscuit, I don't think, has improved by much. He's only 1,000th off of Caster's time. So Surtees next across the line. He's finally going to get a time on the board, unless he messes it up. No, he does not. He's just got the straight left. Across the line now, and Surtees P3, 121.088 behind him. Ricardo pips him to the post. Gladius next moves into P2, 2/10 off of TomTom's time. Next is going to be Donji. Across the line he goes in just a minute, and he's only P4, 1:21.0. Next, it's going to be Sherlock. He's not got a lot of energy left. He has improved by a lot, but it's only enough for P11. Next up is Jordan, the one final man who could potentially pip TomTom to pole position. He can only manage 4th. So TomTom takes pole position. It looked like it might not have happened, but in the end, who was it ever really in doubt? TomTom takes pole here in Qatar. Also, let me know what the audio levels are like, by the way. That's kind of crucial. I need to know what they're like. Because just in case anything sounds a bit wrong, like if the game's too loud, or I'm too loud, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna have something unhealthy. Dear. Yeah. Crucify aged like milk. He was having a stinker, and then it turned into... Well, it was smelling like milk, but then I suppose it started smelling like flowers, or, I don't know, whatever TomTom likes the smell of. TomTom, do you like the smell of chocolate, or beef? I don't know. Whatever is your favourite smell, I suppose it started smelling a bit like that, didn't it? So, I'm not sure if we're getting a formation lap again. That should be fixed. But maybe it got broken again. Just like the equal cars. They were fine and then they got broken. And they've been fixed a little bit, but not by a huge amount, I think. But no one's willing to wait. So, slightly unequal cars, I think, today. Not that it's really mattered too much, I think. And so here come the lights. 5 red lights on here for Huts Gaming F1 League in Qatar. It's lights out and away we go. TomTom leading the way off the start line. It's been a horrific start for Gladius. Adrian has jumped him already. Is that Jordan trying to make it round the outside? It is, but he's not going to be able to make it round the outside of turn 1. Can he make it through turn 2 and 3 potentially? Looks like he's into the P3 for now. Still side by side for the Alpine and McLaren. It's going side by side. Who turns 4 and 5? In the end, Jordan has to get out of the way. There's been spins. That's Biscuit having a calamity at turn 4. And Sobron GT has had a shocker of a start as well. He's right down at the back. Let's take a look at the tyres that everyone is on. It's very even split between hard tyres and medium tyres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 runners on the mediums and 10 on the hards. Let's look at the positional changes. Adrian up by 1, Jordan up by 1, Ricardo up by 2. Gladius, horrific start, down by 3. Though I suppose it's at least a better start than what Biscuit has had. He's 8 positions down on where he started. Horrible start for the Aston Martin second driver, which is not going to spell it's not going to be good in the long run for their Constructors' Championships chances if Biscuit cannot recover. Meanwhile, Ricardo and who was that? I think it was Gladius coming to blows. Going side by side and then coming together. Meanwhile, look at that kerfuffle of cars. It's not the word I was looking for, but it's quite a a lot of cars right behind the second Alpine of Domchi. Caster leading the chasing pack here. It's not quite... Oh, there's stuff going on. Gladius trying to get around. Oh, Ricardo is having issues. Ricardo has had a disconnection and the AI has taken over his car, and he is going to pay dreadfully for that. Which, well, it's not even really his fault, but it happens. So getting very, very close to these sections. Shankstar chasing down Big 6 for P13. But he's also got Biscuit for company, who seems to be catching up. Meanwhile, at the front, well, no DRS for now, but the gap is growing between Adrian and Jordan, especially as Adrian has just put in fastest lap of the race so far, and there's been a spin for Shankstar, who was chasing down Big 6. It's all gone wrong. DRS enabled for this lap, but of course it won't really come into effect until the end of the lap, until essentially lap 4. The leaders pulling away from the rest of the pack, including Gladius, who is not a slow driver, but that poor start has really had a... that's not... I can't think of the words. Just not being what he wanted. There's also, I think there was Herlock having a bit of a tank slapper in the background. Gladius maybe pulling away from his teammate a little bit. 8/10 between him and Domchi. The gap behind Domchi shrinking by little. Surti catching as well. Where did Surti start? Exactly here, 7th place. Meanwhile, DRS now enabled, and TomTom, his lead comes into effect for the first time this round. But Adrian just a bit too far behind to really capitalise on that. So now they go around for the circus one more time. Could make a positional change elsewhere in the lap, but main straight is the best place to do it. Meanwhile, the gap between Domchi and Gladius and Domchi still kind of in the same region, 7 to 8/10. Caster getting very close to Domchi, but since Domchi still has the DRS, that's going to prove difficult for him to get past. Yellow flag. That's Callum having a spin on the exit of the final corner. Or something. And now he finds himself dead last, allowing Sobron into 17th now. Now, if Gladius is smart, he's going to pull a Carlos Sainz. He's going to keep his teammate within DRS range, basically to protect himself here, and see what they can do. Meanwhile, though, at the front, we've got Adrian chasing down TomTom once again. DRS wide open. He's not had a great exit out of the final corner, but maybe that won't matter. DRS, he's got the inside for turn 1, but he decides to back out of it and stay behind the Aston Martin for another lap. Jordan was getting a little... Well, he was trying to get past, I think, but couldn't figure it out. Surti, meanwhile, still right behind Caster. I think we had a bit of a positional change. Bengal and Sherlock, maybe. Maybe there's someone going side by side somewhere. Still, closest battle was on track, but Jordan getting very, very close to the rear end of Adrian through sectors 1 and 2. And I feel like Adrian is more under threat from being overtaken here than TomTom is. We'll see, though. Without the DRS, they've only got their energy to rely on. As we get into the 3rd sector and see what the leaders can do. Are they gonna? Is it gonna stay as the status quo, or is there gonna be a change? Especially as... Oh no! Costa goes round! He gets it all wrong! Resets to track as well. which I don't think is allowed in the rules. Oh no! Oh, did Sherlock get a broken wing? That is exactly why you don't reset to track. He almost collected Sherlock there. That is probably going to get looked at by the stewards. In fact, it may well even be a slam dunk penalty, as Biscuit is the next man to have a disconnection. Caster overtaken by Sherlock, makes contact. Could just have been a lag spike. And also overtaken by Parazod. What a shocker of a lap for the Williams driver, who is now under threat from Big Jabber. Not a man we usually see on screen, despite being the guy who founded the league. And Caster still out of shape. That's opening the door for Jabber to get into P10. And now holding on to a solitary point for now, but Caster is gonna come back. Well, we'll see if he can come back from this. Meanwhile, at the front, Adrian closer to TomTom this time around. Very close. If he can maintain this distance, this gap isn't looking so easy through the third to last corner, and yeah, he's lost a bit of time now, a bit of ground. Can he maintain this gap through the final corner? It's not looking so great, but the gap, crucially, a tenth lower than what it was a lap or two ago, but he's actually lifting off, he's backing off, but that's opening the door for Jordan to go up the inside. That's a strategic miscalculation, or rather a tactical miscalculation. Fighting side by side, and Jordan has to concede. Adrian potentially, who knows, maybe had a technical fault as Caster into the pits, replacing his hard tyres already, which is solidifying Jabber's position in the top 10 for now. But now he's got Biscuit chasing him down, who has now returned. I think someone else who's also returned. No, he hasn't returned. Ricardo still not able to rejoin. Gap between TomTom and Adrian quite crucial at the minute. 9/10 of a second. Can TomTom open the gap anymore? All he needs is a 10th. Can he do it? I'm not sure. Adrian's still mighty close behind. He's going to have to redo all that work. And yeah, Adrian's going to get the DRS on this lap. Meanwhile, Surtees right behind Domchi. But Domchi's still going to have the DRS on Gladius, which means Gladius are going to hold on to P4 as Big Six, the second man, to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Where is he? Well, Callum's just had another spin. He's about to get lapped by the leaders. Meanwhile, positions 4, 5, and 6 still being fought for. There's a few more penalties going on now. Sobron GT, Callum, Big Six, and Sherlock all have, I believe, 3-second time penalties for corner cutting. Multiple warnings. Yeah, we've had another spin. Oh, that's Callum. His tyres just a little bit downtrodden, and he's going to want to change those as soon as he can. They're going to be absolutely cooked. Also a bit of a fight for position 8 at the minute. It's been another spin. That's Callum. Maybe he's thinking of retiring, but he's got to wait until he gets into the pit lane. So positions 8, 9, and 10. Parazod leading that particular battle. Sherlock within a second as Caster picks up a 3-second penalty now. And Jabber, 1.3 seconds adrift of the... Whoa, safety car, what? Callum has just called a safety car. He's broken his front wing and potentially has a puncture. No. Unexpected safety car sees Gladius pulling into the pits. Bengal in P7. Rather lonely P7. Into the pits he comes and switches his mediums for hards. Let's see how this goes. We'll look at the tyres. Harazard also stopping for new tyres. Sherlock has also stopped. Jabber into the pits as well. Biscuit right in front, as well as Big Six and Shankstar. Where's Callum? He's pulled in right behind his teammate. Oh no, because he's having his front wing changed and he's serving a penalty, I think. Big Six. Oh no. Six was able to have his pit stop before Callum took his. I think he got the two cars the wrong way around. Caster into the pits for softs. His second pit stop of the race already. And then Brains into the pits. Sobron and Callum as well. So Callum is a lap down, even though he's entered the pit lane before Sobron. Oh dear. So Bengal still in 7th. Managing to hold on to his position. Meanwhile, I'm starting to get a little bit bunged up again, so apologies if it starts sounding like I've got my nose clipped or something. Ooh, TomTom trying to fake out the pit maneuver. Pit maneuver? The pit lane. The pit maneuver is something very different from a pit lane. It's what the police use when they're trying to disable or immobilize a fleeing criminal in a car. And the Rozzers, they get behind the car, bump into the rear corner with their front corner and try and spin it out. And sometimes it ends in a roll. Ah, controller, don't do that. Yeah. Yeah, Ricardo, you should be able to get back in. Don't see why you shouldn't be able to. Unless you're not friends with any of these people, which would kind of make sense. And of course, let's look at the top 5. Running on the tyres they started the race on. 9-lap-old mediums for TomTom, Jordan and Domchi. 9-lap-old hards for Adrian and Surti. Ricardo also on the 9-lap-old hards, but he's not been able to get back in. Biscuit should be able to easily dispatch Ricardo, who is just a bot at the minute. And may well be able to fight with Jabber for P10. Now, who do people want to get a pole position on? Pole position? Who do people want to get the point instead? Hang on. One of these days I'll learn English. Who would you rather get the point? Jabber or Biscuit? There we go, I figured it out eventually. Tom and Biscuit, former Aston Martin, so rooting for them to still win constructors. Bearded Blob. What was your in-game name? You're not bubbly, are you? Ah, Vic. Let's see. Safety cars still not coming in because Sobron caught up to the field too late, and he's coming in for another pit stop. Why? He's decided he doesn't want soft tyres anymore. He's going to put on something else. More soft tyres. Does he think he can serve a 3-second time penalty in the pits? Because you can't. He has 6 seconds of penalties, and yeah, I've made that same mistake, as I just noticed Brains has a drive-through penalty for some reason. But yeah, you'd think that you could serve 5 seconds of that penalty time in the pits, but it counts as 2 separate penalties, so you can't serve any of those time penalties that are 3 seconds in the pit lane. only 5 and 10 second penalties, which is irritating. Technically, you should be able to serve any penalty in the pit. And of course, the funny thing is, there's no such thing as a 3-second penalty in real Formula 1, and yet for some reason, it's been in the game for as long as I can remember. So we should have the safety car coming in this lap as... Pardon me. Felt like I was talking through a cheese grater for a moment there. And I think I'm going to sneeze in a few moments as well. Safety car in this lap. I wish I was as smooth as my computer is at the minute. But we'll see how things go. TomTom to control the start. Positional changes. Bengal up 11 positions. And the top 5 not made any pit stops. And that could prove rather disastrous as they're going for it now. TomTom catching Adrian perhaps a little bit off guard. And Adrian might be under threat from Jordan here by the time we've crossed the finishing line to start lap number 12. And I think Jordan is just about safe. Adrian, though, taking a little bit of a look on the inside of TomTom. Meanwhile, though, let's keep an eye on Gladius, who is right behind the top 5. Some maneuvers by Caster going up a couple of positions, as is his teammate Brains. What can Gladius do on these brand new hard tyres? Can he make his way past the McLaren? Surtees defends, forces Gladius around the outside, but it's still not enough for Surtees. Gladius about to take the inside of turn number 7, I think that is, moves up into 5th place. And I can't help but feel that staying out on the old tyres was not the right call. Callum picks up another 3-second time penalty as Gladius now may be about to be let through by his teammate, and yes indeed, Domchi letting Gladius past, and now going to be the roadblock that Gladius requires to potentially take his first race win. Almost said race win. But they have competition behind. Bengal now on the fresh hard tyres as well, right behind these two. He's not going to stick in the slipstream. He's actually being overtaken by Parasod. Parasod dumping the energy. What can he do here? Parasod taking almost 3 cars in the space of a single straight. Where has this guy come from? Where has he been all race? He's still fighting with Surtees. He's managed to get into P6. It's an upset for the Alpine duo as Parasod now into 5th. Insane moves. Yes, Surtees should have indeed pit. Callum retires from the session. He's done so in the pit lane, so there will be no safety car for that. Meanwhile, Gladius has caught up to the tail end of the top 3. He could potentially take all 3 of these drivers. Well, he almost certainly can. He has the grip over them, pulling away from the rest of the pack. What can he do here? Caster has moved up into P9 now, right behind Bengal, who is under threat. Well, who is threatening Surtees, rather. What can the Ferrari do? Can he make it a dive bomb into the final corner? We have a yellow flag that is Callum's AI-driven car. We'll watch Gladius now, right at the tail end of Jordan as DRS is enabled. Jordan defending the inside of turn 1, forcing Gladius the long way around, but it's no use. He's got the position before they even hit turn 2. That is the grip of the new tyres. Staying out was the wrong strategy. Gladius could well take the race victory here. Meanwhile, Domchi has been dispatched by Caster, who is on those soft tyres, is going to be absolutely rapid, but won't have the tyre life. Oh, a little bit of a wobble as well. Meanwhile, Bengal is finding it very difficult to get past the Alpine here. It is proving a bit, what's the word, a step too far to get past. He's looking every which way and getting a little bit of a wobble, but has he got the traction out of the turn 10? I think it's turn 10, yeah. He's got the grip through the corners. Can he manage it? Through the final sector, it's going to have to be made. Through the final corner, he's got the penultimate corner, and that's Domchi coming into the pits. He sees the writing on the wall. Doesn't want to tangle with a car who is much faster. Surtees now in a bit of a faster car sandwiches. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on for the lead. Adrian now taking P1, but TomTom now under threat from Gladius. And Gladius moving into P2 by turn 3. TomTom loses 2 positions in the space of 3 corners, but Gladius closing on P1 and the lead of the race. The writing is on the wall here for Adrian. We'll see what happens later on. Will the alternate strategy be the better one for these drivers? They're going to have to stop eventually, and that could prove the nail in Gladius's coffin, potentially. But yeah, if any of the top runners pit now, they're going to be down around 13th position, which is not a great place to be. Any of them pitting? No, Jordan not pitting. He's a second adrift. TomTom isn't adrift, but guess who also isn't adrift? Gladius, right behind Adrian, using the energy, got the DRS as well, sailing past the Red Bull to take the lead on lap 16, and now he just has to use these fresh, newer, hard tyres to sail off into the distance to do what he can to solidify what could be his maiden race victory. I'm pretty sure he hasn't won a single race up until this point, so we shall see what he can do. Meanwhile, I think I've just figured out that the number that was on Domchi's car is actually a number 6, because it looked like that the number 66 on Gladius's car has been cut off. So that's not great, is it? Oh dear. That came out of nowhere. I'm talking a bit too much. Yeah, Gladius potentially could run these tyres to the very end, but it's going to be a very close one, I think. He's got to run them another 13 laps, and I just don't see them retaining enough grip to that point. Oh, Jabber picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. Meanwhile, TomTom now chasing after Adrian for P2. And Adrian, being a second adrift of Gladius now, doesn't have the assistance of DRS to defend himself. But TomTom not close enough behind to make the move. Meanwhile, Parazon and Caster going side by side through turn 1. Oh, there's been a spin for Sobron GT in sector 2. He's managed to get going. His Brains picks up another 3-second time penalty. Oh, Parazon almost running into the back of Caster there. And potentially got a bit of a wobble that it looked like he had to take rapid recontrol of the car. On the very limits there. Meanwhile, Jabber, with that penalty, I think he could still manage to hold on to P10 here, because Sherlock has a penalty. Oh, Caster's picked up a penalty as well. Let's look at those. Oh, Sherlock's got 9 seconds of penalties. So Jabber on course for potential P9 here, if he can hold on. Whilst Caster with 6 seconds of penalties is going to end up probably in P8. If they finish as they are. So Jabber on for a point here, potentially. Oh, or two. Meanwhile, TomTom not close enough to really make a move. And Bengal getting pretty close to Parazod, but not close enough. It looks like he's optimized his car for downforce. He's not able to keep up with Parazod, who, of course, we saw sailing past this very Ferrari just a few laps ago. Right at the start of the second race period after the safety car. Gladius, meanwhile, not exactly sailing off into the distance. He's only 1.3 seconds ahead of Adrian. He's actually losing time through the first sector there. That is odd. Let's look at everyone's energy levels. So Gladius, being that he's in the lead, is able to retain his battery. Save it up a little bit. Adrian is having to use a bit of it to defend from TomTom, who's actually holding on to a bit himself. Jordan has 52%, but now he's having to defend from Caster. There's been another spin for Sobron GT on the exit of turn 1. And the original top 3 Sobron GT's out of the race, and this could prove crucial. Jordan and Caster into the pits, just as TomTom and Adrian and Gladius have passed it. This could be game-changing. Into the pits, they must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O, said a certain Matt Gallagher once upon a time. This could be absolutely game-changing. This could put Jordan into net lead of the race. This is not what Gladius, Adrian, or TomTom would have wanted. It's an absolute disaster, especially for Adrian and TomTom. That safety car came out at exactly the wrong time, and Surtees picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That is a rookie mistake. Can the soft tyres go 10 laps? Potentially. Jordan and Caster on the softs. Parazod, Bengal, and Biscuit on new mediums. Surtees on 2-lap-old mediums. Sherlock on new hards. Jabber, Shankstar, new mediums. Big Six and Brains, new softs. Domchi, new mediums, and Ricardo, well, he's still AI, so who cares? But Gladius, Adrian, and TomTom, I was so sure this could have ended up being Gladius' first race victory, and now those chances are slipping down the drain with every second they spend under safety car. Yeah, indeed. The podium position is the people on the podium is at the end of the race are not going to be the people on the podium as they are right now, and they're all coming into the pits. They are going to lose out massively, which means Jordan is taking the lead of the race on lap 20. This is an unmitigated disaster for Gladius, Adrian, and TomTom. And look at the differences. This could prove absolutely crucial in the Constructors' Championship. Jordan, P1, but of course, remember, Surtees has that drive-through penalty. That is going to destroy his race. But even if he doesn't get any points from this race, Biscuit in P6, well, he'll get 10 points. That gap is going to, in the Constructors, is potentially going to close to just 5 points. This is a crucial race. Jordan, Caster, and DFE, of course, Parazod. But difference is, he's on medium tyres. He could potentially start fading away much quicker than Caster and Jordan. And it's... oh dear. Gladius, Adrian, and TomTom out of the points with 9 laps to go. Or 10 maybe? I don't know. And of course we've got to wait. I keep mixing up my R's and my W's and R's. I keep saying wait. Wait? I don't know. I can't speak today. I feel like Elmer Fudd. Come here, you nasty wabbit. We'll see how things pan out. I think because Ricciardo's AI is so far behind, we aren't gonna get another lap of safety car running here. I feel the safety car would have come in by now. Or announced it was ending, yeah. Ricciardo. Oh dear. Gotta love the AI. So one more lap of safety car running. And of course Bengal, the dark horse here, currently 4th. And looking like he could hold on to that position as well. Bengal, potentially on course for driver of the day here. Positional changes, 14 positions gained. He's done an opposite of TomTom, who's lost 13 positions. Bengal must have started, what, 8, dead last, maybe? And he's in 4th. Certainly driver of the day at the moment, unless he cocks it up. And of course, Sobron. Not sure what happened. Let us hope that he didn't retire on track through the menu, the pause menu, and that he just crashed. That is the hope. Because if he retired on track through the pause menu, that isn't allowed. Oh dear. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. There's 8 laps remaining after this one. 8 laps to the checkered flag. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap with almost certainly coming in. There we go. Called it. And so Jordan controls the restart. It's all in the hands of McLaren now. But it's not going to be the race that McLaren would have wanted. Mainly because, well, purely because Surtees has that drive-through, which is going to destroy his race. And so, here we go. He's gone for it before the final corner. Caught Caster off a little. And the race gets back underway on lap 22. And DFA Parazot already on the tail end. He's going for it already. Up the inside of turn 1. Can he make the move stick? No, the medium tyres just not grippy enough compared to the softs on the Williams. It was a bold move. A brave move, but it didn't quite work out. Still plenty of time. Meanwhile, down the field, Adrian has just got past Gladius for P11. Now chasing down Shankstar for P10. But he's now been repassed. Gladius and Adrian fighting for what is at the minute nothing, not even scraps, though Shankstar's gone a bit wide at turn 7, and that's opened the door for Adrian. Can Adrian get past? Yes, he has. Adrian back into the points. And now Shankstar proving to be a roadblock for Gladius. The Gladius actually gets right past very easily. Meanwhile, that's Domchi and Jabba having a fight for P8 on the road. It's not going to matter too much for Jabba as he has a 3-second time penalty, but he's still going to fly off into the distance potentially. No, he's not. He's under major threat from Adrian, who on the soft tyres is not able to make the move. Actually, no, he is, because Jabber outbraked himself, went wide, and is now under threat from Gladius. Adrian into 8th, now Gladius into 10th. Potentially could get P9, but that's Jabber trying to stick it up the inside of Adrian. Brave move from Jabber as Surty is surfing his drive-through there, which means that has allowed Biscuit into P5, chasing down the leading pack. Could he get into P4 potentially? Sherlock under threat. He's being overtaken by Domchi going through turn 6, but able to hold on his teammate Adrian right behind. That second Red Bull absolutely rapid. He's made up of several positions already that Gladius and TomTom simply haven't been able to do themselves. They're finding it much more difficult. Adrian cutting through the field. They're finding a little bit of a stick, a little bit of a jam, and that's forcing Domchi wide. Not sure if that was him making contact or if it was just Domchi getting it a bit wrong. At the front, meanwhile, Caster and Parazod and Jordan all a second apart. Bengal right to the tail end of Parazod, though. Could Parazod lose the position here? He's defending the inside like a champ, and he's able to hold on. Now that's actually a poor move from Bengal. Could he lose the position to Biscuit? Biscuit getting a much better turn 2. It's not quite working out for Biscuit. This is a hell of a scrap for P3 now. Down the field, Jabber has lost out majorly. He's now out of the points in P12, fighting for P11 as Gladius and TomTom have finally made their way by. And now Gladius has his teammate ahead. Oh, there's been a swap. Parazod has messed up. He's off the podium. Bengal into P3, but this is not set in stone because Biscuit could still make it an Aston Martin podium with about 5 laps of the race remaining, but he's still got an absolutely rapid Adrian behind. Biscuit takes P3 on the road now. And of course Caster with the 3-second time penalty, 6-second time penalty. This is Biscuit essentially into P2 at the minute. This could be an amazing race for Biscuit and damage limitation for Aston Martin, who usually it's the other way round for the drivers. TomTom's usually ahead of Biscuit. The Bengal with the DRS trying to make the move back past. He's got them over speed, but just not the time or space. Meanwhile, Adrian cutting past Parazod now. This is not over for Adrian just yet. Oh no, and Surty! Oh, he's decided it's over here for him. He hasn't crashed, he's pulled into the pits. He can't get anything done from there. His race is done. Valiant effort. He did his best, but in the end, the game screwed him over potentially. If Adrian gets a podium, you'll blow him. Okay. God damn it, you're making my throat hurt even more than it already is. Oh dear. So currently, big scrap for P3. Bengal, oh, bit of a tank slapper on the penultimate corner. Still within 6/10 of Biscuit. Slightly outside of 6/10 now. Not going to be able to make the move, I don't think. Adrian 2.1 seconds behind. 2.3. What can Bengal do? He's going to try and go up the outside, but he doesn't quite have the grip as TomTom puts in the fastest lap of the session in P7. I didn't catch what the lap was, but we can easily look at it. As Sherlock and Jabber fighting for P9. And that's looking like it is going to be Jabber into P9. As Sherlock has picked up another 3 seconds worth of penalties. 1:23.264 for TomTom. That is mighty 0.3 faster than his nearest rival, in terms of fastest lap, which is Jordan, the current race leader. It's damage limitation for TomTom, who is going to lose a little bit of breathing room in the championship to Jordan, who at the minute is going to take essentially maximum points. Meanwhile, I think Adrian's soft tyres have seen their best. He has closed a little bit on the leaders. Oh no! Biscuit picks up a 3-second time penalty, which means he is no longer safe from Bengal. Bengal could take the position, and now Biscuit doesn't have any energy left. Bengal is going to sail past and retake P3 on the podium. Not a lot of energy left in that Aston Martin. Oh dear. Telemetry. He just doesn't have a lot of energy at all. He's been dumping his energy, trying to defend, and he's just used it a bit too much. Adrian's not got a lot of energy left, which is probably why his pace has dropped off so dramatically. Bengal has 35% remaining. He can defend quite easily, if need be. Jabber, in the meantime, has lost a couple of positions. I think Gladius might have had a bit of a whoopsie at some point. But still, Jabber technically on course for P10 at the minute, given that he's well within Sherlock's 12-second penalty margin. What can he do? Can he make the position on the road? Clearly that's what anyone would want to do, take the position on the road, rather than do it through the penalties. Unlike a certain Mr. Hamilton back in Canada 2019, who was quite content to sit behind Sebastian Vettel, rather than try and take the position on the road. No, let's... the gap. Adrian has found it a bit more pace. He's closed that gap massively. 8 tenths in the last lap. There are 2 laps remaining. Adrian could still get a podium here. He's got the grip, but it's going to turn into a DRS train, and he's just got no energy remaining to really make a move on the straight. It's going to have to be through the corners. We'll take one last look at the tyres, and it's only really tyre compound differences here. Adrian is on 1 lap newer tyres than the cars in front. And Caster, despite the fact that he's got 6 seconds of penalties, could be on for P1 on the road. He is getting mighty close to Jordan here, but in the end it's not going to matter too much. We're going to re-enable the telemetry. Jordan has used all of his energy trying to stay ahead, and Caster's actually messed up somewhere. He's lost 4 tenths in the second sector. And this is definitely now this is the last real opportunity for Biscuit to retake P3 from Biscuit, effective P2. DRS, he isn't dumping his energy though. Bengal has used all of his. Adrian within touching distance. As we're on to the final lap, Caster has plenty of energy. He's not going to win the race with the penalties, but he could take the win on the road, which would still be a proof of intent here. It's getting mighty close for Biscuit, though. He's getting right up the diffuser of the Ferrari. Can he make the dive bomb? No, he's going to hang back for now, but he's also got to try and defend from Adrian, who is right behind. He's got a front row seat to this battle for P2. What is essentially P2. Bengal currently in position, actually, no. Of course, Adrian doesn't have penalties, which could mean it could well end up being Adrian P2 here. In fact, almost certainly, Adrian is going to be on course for P2. All he needed was to catch up to this pack. Caster's going to go for the move, if he can do it. He's dumping his energy. He wants to P1 on the road. Can he do it? He's going to have the DRS and the energy. It's not going to matter. He's dumping his energy. He wants the win on the road. He's gonna take it. Caster wins, but Jordan will take victory. And in the end, Tom takes P3. I wasn't looking at Tom. Bengal and Biscuit. It was damage limitation in the end, and Aston Martin are gonna walk away with more than enough points than to hold on to the lead in the Constructors' Championship. 15 and 10 points. In fact, no, that's 16 and 10 points. That's 26 points for Aston Martin. They're going to gain a single point from this. Surtees drive-through absolutely wrecking McLaren's chances of gaining any ground in the Constructors' Championship there. But what a fight! We were so distracted by the battle fought between... who was it? Bengal and Biscuit. That we weren't paying attention to Tom, and he sneaks a podium! Still, P3, he's lost a bit of ground in the championship, but not a huge amount. Only 10 points, I think. So he's still somewhat safe. Yeah, there we go. It's 9 points, yeah. Caster, with those 9-second penalties, only gets P7. Bengal takes an incredible P4. Definitely driver of the day. He started last. Biscuit will only manage P9. Parazod P6, which could have been a podium. Unfortunately, he threw it all away. Domchi and Gladius finished the wrong way around. 8th and 9th, and Shankstar will take P10 as he managed to get past Jabba. Or rather, I suppose the penalty was applied and Jabba just wasn't far enough ahead. Which is unfortunate. Jabba could have been on for a point here, and we've lost out the points. Great. Oh dear. And now, I'm going to bid everyone farewell, because I'm about to faint. I kid. Oh dear. There we go. Powered through it. And there we go. And I think Sherlock might have thrown a position away, because he's being admonished in the Discord. But there we go. It is time to shut the stream down. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week for more Assetto Corsa. And, of course, next Sunday for more F1. Around which track is it going to be? Spa-Francorchamps on the 8th of October. We'll see you then. Until then, have a good one and good night. Meow.